defensively the same way a lot of the structures are. But now as we get our next Battleground pick, Ballistix opting instead of taking that first pick, they want to take a little bit of control back towards the Battleground, a little bit different this go-round. Or excuse me, KSV taking the pick here.
Towers of Doom. Last seen these two play, we did not actually get to see them play onto that. It's a map that, looking at it, I'm trying to figure out, knowing some of the problems with, not so much problem, but some of the strategies that we've seen into the draft, other than the false set, and now that the Dahaka is a bit of a threat. I feel like one hero I do want to see maybe rise in priority here is going to be Blaze. It's something we haven't seen too much here. I think that is something with the control onto the map itself and how fast these fights are happening. If Tyrio's not going to be the go-to for KSV to kind of stop that, maybe they can look towards the Blaze.
We've seen one game with Chromie that was played, and then we had a pretty good job done by Reset, but of course the game was still a loss for KSV Black. Do you feel that, I mean, coming in from a Western perspective, Chromie is one of the heroes you usually watch out for when you're going into Towers of Doom. Do you think there's a chance that we're going to see a bit of a revival of the majors here, even in the Eastern meta, even though they shied away from it so far?
I mean, I think it's possible, but I'm going to say...
Only if there's a Junkrat ban.
Yeah.
Only if there's a Junkrat ban.
That is true.
But given that KSV is going to be first pick, they're going to have 3 picks in their first rotation before the second ban. I would not be surprised if Junkrat is picked up in that 2-3 spot for KSV on this Battleground in particular, and because it's something I think that they desperately need to make a lot of their compositions work.
No, I agree with you. I think that might even be so much so that if Ballistix identifies the severity of that situation, I wanted to say, would they be willing to kind of deny it within their own first 2 pickups here? But that being said, when you look at some of the patterns Ballistix has displayed, it seems very unlikely. KSV, for the first time in a long while, first time today, mixing it up with the Genji ban rather than going with their Uther.
They're not insta-banning Maiev.
Yeah, and that is interesting.
I feel this is actually something that comes down to what we talked about earlier. So for Ballistix always banning out Maiev and KSV Black, now in this situation, getting rid of Genji, you can still have Tracer open afterwards if you want to. Of course, you give up Malfurion. That happens, but I don't think there's a way that Ballistix is giving her up.
There it is. Malfurion seems likely.
Grant us strength.
Tracer Tyrael.
Hanzo
They got the Hanzo Uther.
All right. I like the Hanzo Uther here. Seem to be, well, and there's a response. It's almost like, you know, we've seen these compositions they might be pretty strong in this meta, you know?
I think we've seen this before. I know how this movie ends.
You know, for how frequent we see these picks, you know, I feel like we're pretty bad at predictions. You know, we've seen these kind of guys clash head to head for so long, and we're still sitting at the, I mean, feels like a coin toss at times. Zeratul still hovering to be the ban. Are we going to see the Zeratul into the Junkrat response?
I think KSV, when it comes around to theirs, I think they need to consider a Tychus ban.
Yeah, I think a Tychus ban as well. I very much would like to see that.
Like Blaze or Tychus, I think, is high priority, but at this point, the way that we saw Ballistix played in the previous series by Ballistix, I'd be surprised if they pass up the Dahaka in the next rotation.
Taking a hot minute here to think about the Zeratul and whether or not it is going to be the confirm.
Yeah, that's not going to be a change here. So Zeratul banned out again.
So what do we think? There it is. They get it. I like that a lot. The fact that we see that here from them. Junk would be pretty good. You don't think so?
I don't think they'll go that.
Me neither.
Just because of Hanzo? Or not even just depth of pool?
Mainly because the Hanzo, but if anything, I would have said that KSV Black is going to look towards playing Junkrat here.
I mean, I agree, but I would like to see Ballistix take that off the table from them beforehand. The amount of pressure that it can apply makes the sanctification a bit more difficult to identify, especially with the concussion mine.
It makes the kill pressure difficult, though, I feel, if you have Hanzo already.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of those, like, oh, we can't confirm a kill whatsoever. But there is still, I feel like, because unlike the Western meta, we see teams not willing to commit to only a double warrior composition, that there's opportunity to commit to that with the Uther and then go with more carry to get the dive later. Instead, the inverse, they're going to go with that double warrior, so playing it a bit slower.
I like the fact that they actually held that pick, because I feel that if Tracer's your only threat, there's an outside shot. You could go into something like a Li Ming. It's something that, you know, they're known to play. You can get the force or the spell armor off of her level 1 dealing with the Tracer. Uther can kind of help keep the Hanzo alive, and you have great frontline control and great macro play.
I'm actually wondering if they were thinking about going Malthael instead of Dehaka. We've seen a lot of Malthael from the Eastern teams in general, but on this map even more so than any else, just simply because they go so heavily on the camp pressure. And with Uther already on the side, I could have seen them try to go down that road. Heading into Dehaka as a global is still absolutely fantastic, and I love it for the map. But with that prevalence that Malthael had, I wouldn't have been surprised if they would have chosen him over Dehaka.
Got 8 seconds left till we figure out the last 2 picks here for KSV. Not too much being displayed here. There's the Blaze and there's the Junkrat we were talking about. I wanted to bring up the fact that the reason I have concerns with the fact that we do see them commit to the double worry Dehaka in that rotation with the Junkrat still being available is because the Junkrat mismatch for the Tyrael or for the Dehaka whenever that happens. Granted, Blaze holds his own into that whenever necessary, but it provides an opportunity to have a laning kind of adjustment at any point in time to where you can really cripple the Dehaka and any pressure he wants onto the map.
I'm just really happy that they committed to the Blaze and Tyrael combo because it's so insanely strong, and when we've seen it on the eastern side, it was oftentimes misplayed, and I don't think that's going to happen here with KSV Black. And in any composition, I mean, that setup that they have right now is absolutely crazy. The poke that you have through Junkrat, Blaze and Tyrael keeping everybody safe, Tracer to dive the back line. I wonder what kind of pick Ballistix could really just throw their way right now that would change the draft balance here.
This last pick
I'm
is
struggling
Yeah, same.
on what is going to be here.
Greymane?
That's about as standard as it gets. And
Yeah.
that's a safe pick to me. That's an extremely safe pick to me.
You have the Divine Shield on Uther, you can put the pressure on Tracer.
Does that mean you sit in the boat of like enjoying the composition inside of with just the idea of safety?
Given the style of play, yeah. This is one of those times where you can actually look towards, say, the North American side of things and then moving over to Europe where the Dehaka pick is something that you can exploit in the early game, and that we saw a lot of camp invades. You look at a team like Tempo Storm that was able to use a Dehaka pick, and a lot of teams started to match it, whether it was with a Leoric or a Malthael, something that could get down and not be punished for rotating down to help those camps. And I think if Ballistix wants to take the approach that they did on Infernal Shrines and maybe be aggressive early, this is the composition. You can get it done with that Greymane mixed in there, with the Hanzo and with the Dehaka.
It's just post 10 that it's going to be really difficult for them to have an impact against what KSV Black is running here. So it's going to be post 10 a pretty tough match, I feel.
The battle begins in
I think if, I don't know. With the opportunity of the Junkrat, we knew, it was going to be a priority. And the reason I was like, Ballistix commit to that in that type of situation is so that they don't have to have that off-lane trade-off. And I do feel like, though I do agree with you on maybe the safety of the Greymane, especially with the ability to trade into Junkrat if he gets close enough, and then Tracer as well, not to get totally punished. It's the amount of control that Junkrat's going to provide to the map and Blaze provide to the map to where I go, your Dehaka's not going to win that offlane very effectively. And so unless you essentially brush stock, get the one-shot all in those type of cases, I don't feel like you're going to gain enough out of the pick. And it's only because the Junkrat was left open and available into this draft. But maybe, they'll prove me wrong here.
The Junkrat definitely a big part of the success for KSV Black, and we'll see if it has it here as we are tied up 2-2, and Towers of Doom always has a little bit of craziness here because there is no direct core dives. You do not pass go, and you do not pass the stun train there. Tisk trying to survive. He's getting the heals there. That scatter arrow just missed there, Dread.
It did, barely just missed, but Tisk actually having enough for a Q over the wall, but it's not going to matter with Junkrat. Is getting chained down there with Jung Ha with that brush talk in, got the drag and secured the kill, and that's exactly what we were talking about. Ballistix need to do that multiple times. Not only when you see the Dehaka, you're going, oh, this is my macro hero, you'll be off to the side. And the answer is, this one is going to be a teleporting, let's go, boys version of Dehaka, and if Ballistix keeps this up, it's going to look very good for them.
Yeah, they have to be aggressive early, and they did so there to start, but see if it continues as both teams, the focus on the Sapper camps here early. Just clear-wise, the Junkrat obviously does well. Greymane does well to defend with the Hanzo. I don't know if we're going to see a ton of value here as we see ETC on the minimap just kind of hovering mid. Dehaka not showing himself too much. Again, getting the flank onto a team like this is going to be incredibly difficult just because of the mobility of the Tracer and the Junkrat. We'll see if they can find an opportunity.
Also, we've seen how many times Rich is comfortable to kind of bait out that power slide into a recall on that Tracer, having that zero ping play. As you see him constantly just getting that threat onto Hooligan. Here goes the siege attempt. All three of the sappers move up. And this is a little bit of what I was kind of talking about with maybe Ballistix' interest in getting that denied there because, oh, look at this. Jungha comes in. Power slide onto 2. Drag's going to get the follow-up. Lands onto Junkrat. A bit of a snipe there for Jungha. But look at the healing coming out from Sake. Not enough to get the save. Oh. Pulse bomb on the back line. Tis unable to get it. Eyes in the dark keeps him up.
Hooligan ate so much of that mayhem that came out of there from the death of Junkrat. You could see those grenades went down. He kind of got locked in there. I was wondering, could Tracer chase him down? The Greymane disappeared with the Tracer unable to get on to the ETC.
So now Ballistix, they're winning in kills. Yep. But why not experience?
They committed a lot.
They have committed a lot, and this is, again, this is what I'm trying to highlight. The Dahaka, why he has fallen off in so many different cases. If the Junkrat versus the Blaze in the laning situation, there's so much other. Those are the only 2 heroes in the game that right now seem to have any impact on Macro right now. Pulse bomb at SC. Another kill here for Rich. Very well done here. And not only that, securing a couple of the shots for themselves. Getting a kill and both of the alternate advantage feels good, man, if you're a KSV fan.
So far, so good. We'll see if they can continue the trend, those sapper camps, for just a little while. So we'll see exactly if KSV wants to try and find an opportunity with the pulse bomb down. Going to take just a little bit before they have that kill threat. For now, team's going to play fairly even. Now with the sapper camps available, this again will be the turning of the tide on how aggressive a team wants to be. Will we see that brush stalker again? You know, it's a little bit more beneficial when you get these kills later into the game because you deny some of that experience running back. But if you don't continue to get them, it is difficult.
Not going to get the invade in time, but the root actually from Sake, pulse bomb onto Hooligan, armor. It's going to be enough to keep him up. Look at that hammer of justice, scattering arrow, and that is a Tracer from 100 to 0. That is going to cost KSV a lot because they're in a situation to, again, capitalize on some of the wave clear and some of the siege capabilities that they have with this composition, but getting that invade and ended up dying here suddenly allows Ballistix a lot of breathing room.
Rich really wanted that kill. That pulse bomb was there. I mean, maybe post-10, you got that, but he really wanted that. Seeing if he could get away with it, unable to do so. Sapper Camp now pushing here on the bottom. Got a quick turnaround here on the altar spawn time, so it will be available here in about 20 seconds to get another team fight going, as it is just a single altar phase.
See how much problems Dahaka versus Blaze is going to have. He actually ended up using the brush stock for mid, so that's going to be a cooldown down. No worry about having a global advantage for either side. Power slide comes out, lands onto Rich. Dragon's going to land onto the Blaze. Kyocha uses the passive, trying to heal up, uses it to jump post, and he actually gets out. Now all of Ballistix' health is way too low to stick around. That Junkrat throwing grenade after grenade over their way. Power slide comes in, recall there, and the drag! The second after he gets out of that recall, he gets caught by Jungha.
Straight god tier there, as they do get the takedown. Kyocha puts down some oil, trying to get the slow, but not going to be enough time for the channel. Reset zoning out here with his Junkrat grenades. The poke is real. Tracer just a few seconds away from spawning, but KSV not enough here to really thwart this, as Ballistix gonna even this up. Or will they? Somebody gotta, there we go. 32 to 32.
This is the second time, or at least second time in this game, second game that we've seen Rich go out of position to get very aggressive, right? And it ended up costing them a lot. Rich, at the first time was on the Genji, now sitting there onto the Tracer. This is something that, you know, every time that we see the Hanzo on the other side, Ballistix is very easy looking to get those trades and turnaround. And it's something that I feel like now, you know, in the first game we see it, that's kind of a fool me once type situation. And now it's a, you know, fool me can't get fooled again here. Nice Druin throwdown. No follow-up yet.
You know, I'm excited to see some Wizened Duelist action. Of course, this is our newly formed Wizened Duelist. It seems to be kind of the safe play when you have the Uther on your side. A lot of teams are running into that. We'll see how that plays out in the long run, if he can stay alive, as we see Sapper Camp's now pushing down here. The Pulse Bomb goes in. Armor is provided there by Magi onto SC, but the Sappers moving their way in. 10, however, picked up here for Ballistix.
Flank from ETC, the state actually, oh, look at Jungha coming in. After that Dragon Arrow, there's the isolation. Malfurion unable to keep himself alive, but he gets the Twilight Dream just in time. SDE gets that disengage. 1-0 here in favor of Ballistix.
That was potentially a mosh that could have turned that all around, but the Twilight Dream that went off right before he died did not allow Hooligan to pull the trigger on that. Malfurion up in a few seconds. Spawning of the altar about 10 seconds out from now. We'll see if he can make it down in time, and that of KSV can stall out. See if they can maybe capture this altar and take a team fight.
A lot is on this Divine Mosh opportunity. Hooligan goes in for the Mosh Pit. There's the Divine Shield only onto the Tyrael, but it's enough to get the kill after the drag. Kyocha ends up using the bunker. Rich now with the Pulse Bomb. Armor provided once more. Kyocha, 2-man jet propulsion, but a man down after that Mosh Pit Divine Shield use. Should be 4 shots here for Ballistix.
You can see the pinging of that bush. They want to go in as the Brush Stalker going in again. We'll see if he can land it. Nice cleanse there. The Nature's Cure coming out from Sake, keeping him alive. They've turned some of that damage directly onto Jongha. Bought a little bit of time, and now Ballistix just trying to zone out. See if they can go in. Rich just barely dodged that power slide with that recall.
They need one more interrupt if Tyrael's going to make it in time. Maki completing the Channel Blaze, not able to get that flamethrower through. Hooligan has a power slide, but going to get zoned out with the root from Sake. He goes in, lands on a Junkrat, jet propulsion turnaround, and that is now one dead cow. Great punishment here from KSV as they now send out the Riptire.
Got the Riptire out, going to get a bit of damage in here, and now they should be able to push. Magi going forward. Magi's actually going to fall. Now they are diving under here. SC, he's not going to be long for this world. He's going to be surviving from the heels of Uther, and they have turned it. Malfurion goes down here, Dreadnought.
Ends up using the Twilight Dream before, though, sending out that silence, and now the Bell Tower converted over to KSV. We have talked about the Dahaka, the global pressure, and normally we see that as the hero use, you know, when you're referring to North America. You get the Sappers control, manipulate the bottom half of the map, but with the Blaze and also the Junkrat and the macro control that's had, every Sapper has gone, other than when there is a death, in favor towards a KSV, and they've been able to push it and get that value out. And now having that Bell Tower converted, I can't help but feel like it's going to be very difficult for Ballistix to, you know, not be playing the standard musical chairs that we see teams play on towers.
Ballistix has Sappers pushing in here that they'll have to deal with before they can make their way into the Bell Tower, but directly behind those with the next minion wave will be another round of Sappers in level 13, getting close here for KSV. Kill advantage and structure and core advantage in favor of Ballistix, but the structure advantage starting to turn here for KSV.
Kyocha off there for a little bit longer than maybe would have liked to be. Jongha drags him back. And then conveniently says, you know what, I'll let you have this. 10 seconds out. Again, that control on bottom with the pressure of Junkrat. Hanzo doing his best to get the response out. 4 seconds in, or away from here at these altars. I'm expecting, yes, the invade from KSV. Blaze is going to start the top right channel. Power slide, it misses, but nobody able to get, oh, I say that. Tiss actually Eldrew and gets the interrupt. Pulse bomb out.
Pulse bombs there, Sanctification's used to aggress forward, but there's not much fight behind that. See if KSV is willing to fight into this Dreadnought. Generally, you'll see teams kind of just casually poke and then back away, but Ballistix finding a hard opportunity to come in. As you can see, they're starting to come in for a potential flank from the side. You see the concussion mine sending Junkrat flying to safety.
Yeah, normally I'd say that decision-making, nice grenades over the wall from Reset. Normally I'd say that decision-making is great from KSV to try and force that fight, but with the Sanctification used, I don't know if they should take that. Rich, barely able to dodge that. Nice holding ground split onto SC. Divine Shield's going to be used. Twilight Dream as well. Riptire going through, ends up getting the explosion. Hanzo isolated, gets one shot there by Rich. Bunker goes down to kind of split the members of Ballistix. Also, who's splitting the members? That is KSV there with that Holy Ground.
Well, the Holy Ground is there. Hooligan dives to safety. We're going to see if Rich wants to try and make that God tier play, but instead he's going to be on the channel there. And KSV instantly turns their attention to the boss. And 13 Holy Ground locking members of Ballistix in. KSV coming to fight Dreadnought. They're turning this around. So they've now taken the lead in terms of core health, up 28-22.
Yeah, very well done there from KSV. Even spending that downtime with the Tracer and Junkrat to get a little bit of siege damage on the top half. They were getting pretty much anything and everything they could out of that situation. Ballistix, when they saw the Sanctification, they backed up and kind of recollected themselves, but that initiation attempt just, you know, didn't work out for them, and it's absolutely dire that when you know your opponent's down to heroic like Sanctification, you've got to win that fight. Hooligan looking for the collapse, not going to use Mosh Pit yet. There he goes. It's only going to be a one-man dance party on the Malfurion, but Junkrat's got the damage there. Here's a pulse bomb on the SDE, but things are fine for now.
They're walking away. Reset going in with the aggressive concussion mine move, forwarding himself up. Jong Ha taking the damage. Concussion mine again there. Jong Ha somehow survives as we see the heals come out from the side of Ballistix, but Dreadnought, that play on the backside, Kyocha reading that, coming in, Hooligan looking for the aggressive flank. Kyocha met him with that jet propulsion, hitting before he could ever get it started, and thwarting what could have been a monster mosh pit from Hooligan there on ETC.
Yeah, very well done here for KSV to get that stall out. Now we have 25 seconds over a triple altar phase. KSV Black inevitably is going to have 16 talent here during this time frame. They're also going to have Sapper Camp sieging away towards top, which with that Bell Tower converted, those are shots threatening the core. The fact that you see that Blaze stalling on that cap there is now going to make the Dahaka trade-off we've been looking at all game a little bit more difficult. That being said, with the 16 here, I would expect him to just stay, get the clear, not risk the shots, and not risk the fight elsewhere. But maybe that's not the case, as he's looking to help start on this channel. Now, you know, just checking in, seeing in case there was a stall out from KSV.
Yeah, with the 16 talent here, I just don't see Ballistix willing to take this big of a risk right now. They'll need to clear up that top lane as best that they can, use Dahaka to just kind of casually hold that. KSV willing to give them the bottom altar as well as the neutral altar on their side here in the top right. That does, however, send an additional 5 shots for a total of 10, stretching this core health lead 25-8 firmly in favor of KSV.
Dahaka still showing on top. 16 still yet to be found. He's going to end up getting it back there after Pulse Bomb drops, but it's more just a threat at this point in time, allowing Junkrat and Reset to just spam out those grenades, be such a problem. That's why Junkrat's been such a hot topic in Korea and throughout the Eastern Clash.
See KSV starting to take control of this. After giving up that bottom, they ended up putting their attention to the top. And it's kept Dahaka there for quite some time with those sappers you had mentioned just about a minute ago. So that's been a huge point of contention to keep control. Jong Ha not able to siege up directly on that. Rich does not have a pulse bomb, but you best believe that he will be looking to make a play at some point here.
If you're Jong Ha in that situation, the only way you have any opportunity to kind of make that play is like an isolation that I would argue Rich has the opportunity to react to the animation, but let's just say somehow you win it. And then into immediate drag into that death wall. Not going to pull the trigger there, but if you see any more opportunities where we see the zoning off of the objective from Tracer, look out for that, because keep in mind, we have seen amazing not only drags onto Rich on that Tracer, but then also the isolation on the Sake at the very beginning of this game. Jong Ha's been holding his own.
No matter if a bell tower is reclaimed here for Ballistix or not, 2 altars will end this game if KSV Black can obtain those. If they can get 1, then maybe make a play around that sanctification. Ballistix has to be a little bit careful when it comes to the defense here, Dreadnought.
If Ballistix is going to take one of these fights, it's bottom. Bottom is by far the easiest for Brushtalk to gain value compared to mid. Mid, it has to approach from down below, whereas on bottom, it can approach from 2 different angles, but KSV now starts with mid, maybe with this in mind.
They've come down there looking for a fight. Jong Ha does. He lands the first. That is going to be onto Kyocha there, onto Blaze. The Rip Tire in return is going to split that of Ballistix for now.
Pulse Bomb miss.
Pulse Bomb miss. That's a big time play right there. Missed out on.
Yeah, all the heroics still available for Ballistix. Not the case now for KSV. Down the Junkrat, Rip Tire, and the Pulse Bomb. Kids SC is going to start channel number 1. Jong Ha starting the channel on mid. Drag's going to connect there onto Tist on that Tyrael. Now Ballistix looking to get that collapse upward. Rich getting a bit of pressure, goes on the back line. Jet Propulsion going to land onto 2. Bunker drop. Twilight Dream Sanctification as well. KSV moves forward, but Jong Ha survives thanks to his passive. SDE, though, maybe not sharing the same fate, but he gets that Divine Shield. Hooligan goes in for the mosh pit. Dragon Arrow is going to be used on top with that pre-cleanse Blaze. First to drop, Tyrael quick to follow after, but the response is there. Rich goes in, get a kill, and now 2 for 2.
It's 2 for 2, but there are still 2 altars up. Sake starting the channel, and SC misses, and now all of a sudden he uses that natural agility to get over. Reset trying to poke down from afar, and right now KSV Black, they could be trying to end this right now. SDE and team have to push forward. Sake starting the channel. The Sonic Arrow goes out for the interrupt now, but look for Rich. He has Pulse Bomb available. Can he let it? He gets to the backside, gets on SC.
Ends up getting him the parting gift as well. Now Reset using the concussion grenade, going to the back line. Nobody's going to start the channel yet. Now Sake starts it up as there's the Riptire. Magi coming down to try and get the last possible interrupt. Throws out the Frisbee. The root ends up landing there for Reset. It's just a delay of the game. They end up getting the Hammer of Justice out and getting the kill onto Rich. Dahaka's alive. He's going to brush stock in.
He's got this. It seems like Ballistic might be holding. You can see the
did
team
it.
of Black going. They are retreating. Jongha, can he get there to land the tongue? He does not. I feel like they should have just salvaged that situation, gotten the channel dread. Now Black is able to get
But
back
Kyoto,
into this fight.
Jet Propulsion is actually dodged. Nice Hammer of Justice as well to get the deterrent. Bunker used. Reset starts that channel. You see the in and out there between Tyrael and Kyoto. Reset's going to start channel again. Hooligan not able to use, or not having a mosh pit. Jongha falling low.
SDE has the D-shield. You see the isolation's going to be there. They've got their focus on Detest. The Twilight Dream is a little bit of a whip there, but the members of Ballistics are so low in terms of health and mana. Sake on the right side, trying to get the channel hog. Look at the Ice Block dodges the Dragon Arrow.
Dodges the Dragon Arrow, but everybody's health is so very low on the side of Ballistics that I don't know if it matters. There's a sanctification to stop any interrupt onto the channel. There it goes. 5 shots onto the core. GG. KSV find themselves Towers of Doom victory and eke ahead once more.